Hi YouTube, it's been a while since I have come on live, and I say that on every live, and I haven't also recorded any videos and released them here. So, yeah, I'm back on YouTube after quite a gap, and that's because there's been a lot going on in my life, and I was taking time to metabolize that. But I wanted to let you know before I get into the topic of this video that there is a live webinar I'm doing after several months, like 4 5 months. I did the last live webinar in February, and I'm doing this webinar again in July. So it's going to be tomorrow, and it's live, which means you get to ask your questions live to me, and I will answer them. And it's going to be about the missing ingredient from the treatment of psoriasis and eczema. So if you've tried all the diets, all the medicines, all the juice cleanses, all the medicines, alternative medicines, and it still keeps coming back, then this is the webinar you want to not miss, because I'll be walking you through the common mistakes people make, why people are stuck, why the flares keep coming back. And this is from my personal experience, as well as having taught this to others, my students and clients who have also benefited from this approach. And I'm going to be sharing with you the 6 step method that I have, that I have used, and I have been able to not only get clear skin, but also freedom from the fear of relapses. And this has also been implemented by my students and clients. So if for the webinar, if you want to register, make sure you click on the link that is going to be in the description box below, and you will have all the details. It's going to be at 6 p.m. IST, Indian Standard Time, tomorrow, and there'll be no replay. So you want to make sure that you attend it live. And if you can't attend it live, also let me know in advance. So click the webinar link, register, and you'll get all the details. And if you want to know more, and at the end of the webinar, I'll be offering you a way of how you can work with me. So if you want to know how to implement the 6 step process and have me teach it to you in concise, structured way, then there is also a way to do that. So if you want to know how to work with me, definitely sign up for the webinar. And I don't do this webinar very often, like I have already mentioned the last time I did it in February. So make sure you, if you want to know, if you've been following me for a while, and definitely get on that link. Okay, so now back to today's topic, which is the why psoriasis and eczema, they keep coming back despite all your best efforts, despite you going on these very strict diets, and having medicines for years, right? So that's because psoriasis is a psychosomatic condition, which means that it's not caused by you having a certain type of wrong food group, or you having some imbalances, like in terms of like some medicines which you need to have which will cure it. It's because psoriasis is psychosomatic, which all illnesses are, which basically means that something in your mind, some stress or conflict in your mind, is being reflected in your body. It passes on to your body, and that's what causes illnesses. And most people struggle accepting this concept, because we've been told that it's because of some virus, some bacteria, from some germ, some deficiency. um, but it's that's not the case. And this is something I had to learn the hard way, because I had it for several decades, and I learned, obviously, after having tried so many things, that it's not about the medicine, it's not about the diet, because I had tried everything. There were times when I had tried allopathy, homeopathy, Ayurveda, then being off medicines, just using food as medicines, then even acupuncture and so on. But nothing seemed to work in the long term. I would get temporary relief, but it wouldn't be long lasting. And that would keep frustrating me, and not just frustrate me, but also make me feel hopeless, that even when I was going into trying some new medicines, I wouldn't feel very hopeful about it, because I was like, what's the point anyway? It's going to come back, and it's going to go away on its own, because that's also something that psoriasis does. It goes away on its own. At least that's been my case, unless, like, there are some types of psoriasis, like one of my students have. It was like it neither went away, neither came, like new ones came, but he had it in consistent uh, places. Like, it was consistent, it neither reduced neither increased, and he didn't get new spots. So um, Let me know if that's been your experience too, which of the ones you relate to. Let me know in the comments. I read all the comments. So if you're not watching it live, if you're watching it on replay, do feel free to leave your questions or comments. I will read and respond. Now, um, yes. So talking about where was I going with this? I was talking about, yeah, the reason why it comes back is because it's not because of some food group which is triggering you. What is happening is that your body is like, let me think of a metaphor. So, okay, so I said it's psychosomatic, right? What that means is that you have some internal stress or conflict which is not letting you digest your food. Now, for a person who doesn't have that level of intense stress or conflict which they have suppressed, in intense anger they have suppressed, then they are able to digest what other people consider trigger foods quite easily. Like, so for example, many people think that they can't have dairy, they can't have non-veg, or they can't have what else, like potatoes and other things. But there are some people who have all those things and their completely skin is completely fine, right? So it's not about the food. If it was about the food, then you wouldn't be getting the flares back after you've eliminated them, correct? So it's just that the stress stored in your body makes it difficult for you to digest those foods which are on the heavier side, like say dairy, or let's say like mutton, or like chicken, or eggs, or spicy food. That is a little heavier than say boiled food, rice, vegetables, and all. um, and then what happens when your body is stressed is, and I've mentioned this in many of my videos, is that they release certain chemical, some hormones which are only triggered when you're stressed. And therefore your body, what it does when it's stressed is starts shutting down the other functions which are not necessary. When you're stressed, let's say you're being chased by a tiger, and let's say you live in the jungle. Let's go back to those times. When you're being chased by a tiger or a lion, and your body is stressed, so what does it do? Your body starts releasing all these hormones which make activate your limbs, your makes your heartbeat go faster, so that you can escape from the situation by running or by fighting the lion or tiger. And in the meanwhile, your other functions, such as your ability to reproduce, your ability to digest, and all those things are um, the reduce shut down. Why? Because so that you can actually give you all your energy to saving your life. Only after you have saved your life and you are alive can you think about reproducing and digesting your food and healing your body. So these systems, they shut down, and therefore you exit that situation, and then those functions resume. But what happens with people who have chronic stress, which means that you carry stress, you're practically stressed all the time. And this is also something I wanted to address at the end. Many people who work with me, they identify with the condition, they identify with the fact that they've tried everything, but they don't identify with the fact that they are stressed or angry people. And I'll talk about that in a bit, and I've spoken about that in many of my videos. So let's say you're someone who has stress, anger which you've not expressed, and it's inside. So then it doesn't where was I going with this? Wait, hold on. So someone with stress, anger, they are not able to, let's say, oh yeah, I'm talking about chronic stress. Yeah. So when you have chronic stress, and typically, let's say you were a caveman some several thousands of years ago, you had stress for, let's say, the 20 minutes you were fighting the lion or running away from the lion. But now, if you are someone who's constantly stressed because either your life condition is such, or you do not know how to release stress, or you do not know how to express your anger in a healthy manner, and you hold it in and you suppress it in, then um, that stress is 24/7. Or if not 24/7, it's like for maybe a large part of your day, large part of your life. And then you're constantly, your immune system, the system which heals you, takes care of cleaning out all the junk of your body, fights the bacteria and keeps you healthy. Your reproductive system, your digestive system, they all are compromised, and for longer than 20 minutes. And therefore you keep on having a system where food does not get digested, and when it doesn't get digested, it gets converted into toxins in your body, which then, because you're not able to, you don't have a also an active immune system, it starts accumulating in your body and creating all diseases and illnesses, right? So I am going into the depth of it because I really like going into the depth of it, and I've mentioned this in all my other videos too. So go check them out after that if you want to understand it at a more cellular and biological level. But this is what it is on a. I mean, this is still deep, but I go a little more deeper into my videos, other videos. So um, your body is constantly compromised, and you are not able to digest food, which someone else who's not suffering from chronic stress, or maybe they have stress but they know how to release it and they know how to regulate themselves, they are not having those problems of digesting the very same food. And then you're wondering that, okay, fine, these people are um, you feel resentful. Let's say you're going out with your friends, this was my experience, or your family for dinner or any social environment, you're not able to eat most of the things that they're able to eat, and you're wondering life is unfair. It's not. It's just that you have to find better ways of coping. And no, actually, I take that statement back. I shouldn't be saying that. That's not like a very nice thing to hear. You should find better ways of coping. I wouldn't like it if I were told that. Let's put it this way, that let's reframe it this way, that if you feel life is unfair and they get to have what you don't get to have, think over it this way: you are a building discipline. And second of all, and this is something I say from my experience, and say that to my students too who complain about why me. And I say this, that you're building discipline, which is going to help you in other aspects of your life by not being by being able to restrict yourself and have control over what you eat and don't eat. And secondly, look at it as a way to forge mental strength, kind of similar to discipline. But yes, it's more like you are learning something from it. And basically, in the 6 step process that I do, where you learn how to regulate your emotions, when you basically you've tried everything. I mean, okay, so here is why I said that. When you've tried everything, you've depended on some things out most things outside of you, such as a doctor or some medicine or some diet or some pill or some cream to cure you, and you know it doesn't work, then you have to look internally. And when you look internally, that's where all the shifts, the big shifts, the transformations happen. And then you don't have to depend on any doctor or medicine, or being tied to a certain cream or some expensive skincare. You know that all you have to do is make some shifts. Of course, the diet helps. I'm not going to deny any of this, that the diet helps. Why? Because you already have a compromised digestive system. So when you are giving it food which is easier to digest, which anyway your body doesn't have the capacity to digest, like heavier foods, you are making it easier. It's like when you go to the gym, you don't start off with like the heaviest weights, you start with the smaller weights. So you give your body that message that, hey, I'm taking care of you. So that's something that happens at the mental level. And then at the physical level, you give them easier food to have, like you go on a detox, or you do some juice cleanses, or you eat a certain kind of food, which then tells your body, hey, this person is taking care of me. And it's not like that stress, like this person was earlier stressing me out with all these unnecessary thoughts and replaying conversations and getting angry, but now this person is actually taking time to have food which is easier for me to digest. So the body gets that message and also reflects it. But that's not everything. So you also have to do it for the other aspects of your life, where you feel that you have um, uh, not addressed them. And that's what we do in the 6 step process. And if you want to know more about it, then you are more than welcome to join the webinar. If you want to know more about, actually I'll be going into details about the 6 steps. So if you want to know more about the 6 steps, then do join it. We'll do live exercise also, where we'll do some of the steps together, and then you can see if that's something that resonates with you or not. And we'll take it from there. Okay, so that was it, and I hope you have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow in the webinar. Bye.